Hello everybody, and today I will be starting a new what if. Okay, yes, making sure. So we're starting a new what if. What if Issei was the ultimate conduit? Don't know what that is? Quickly read through the infamous lore, or at least watch a quick summary. But if you want a basic idea, superpowers. So, I guess I'll begin now. Let's start with Issei's birth. Issei was born... Issei was born, and there was a power outage. Stopped all power in a 50-mile radius. He didn't cry, he sat there, looking over at the corner. No one else could see it, but many shadowy figures were looking at him. Like, when I say many, I mean like army. Like, the corner wasn't even there. It was just like a portal to a different area. Whatever. Different zip code. But back to where I was going with that. Nobody else could see it, but he could. Some were men, some women, some with auras of red, like crimson, others with ocean blues. One stepped forward. His aura was white, as if he was somewhere in between. So, a new vessel has been created. I'm going to enjoy this ride. Everybody in. They all step forward and become him. As the man looks out the window. Wish you were here, Trish. And with that, the man becomes a mass of lightning and goes into Issei. His mother is shocked. Metaphorically, I have to say, considering who I'm dealing with. And so is the doctors, for that matter. Considering they couldn't see the man. They did see the lightning gently touch Issei. The lightning dissipates, the power returns to the city, and Issei starts crying like baby should. The doctors look at the mother and share one of those, did that really happen looks? And let's go for a little time skip now. Issei is now 6, and he looks outside where he finds his dear mother setting up a course in one of those military test thingies. And he asks her what she's doing. She replies with setting up a course to test myself, Issei. Issei then asks if he can watch. His mom says okay. Little did she know that this would be the start of his new hobby. He watches her run through the tires, climb the wall, go across the bars, and swing down from the top of a rope, or climb down from the top of a rope anyway. When she finishes, Issei says that he would like to try. His mom was okay with it because she doubted that he could outdo her, considering she had military training. The whole family had military training anyway, but back to the point. He probably wouldn't even be able to climb the wall. She was very wrong. The way he moved was natural, almost as if he'd been doing this for his whole life. One problem, though. He hasn't done this before. He finished the whole course, cutting 3.7 seconds off of his mother's time. Then innocently looked at her and asked, "Did I do good, Mom?" Giving her a thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs middle. She looks at him and asks, "How did you do that?" He said, "I don't know, Mom. Just felt natural. Did I do something wrong?" He starts scratching his head. "No, son, but let's show your aunt." She said, calling her sister. On the phone, of course, and asking her to come over so she could show what her nephew just did. And she rushed over, thinking that something had happened. She arrived. Now, I'll describe her for you. She's a woman. Looks like she's in her mid-50s. Black hair. Military crew cut. And if you don't know her occupation, well, she's the one in charge of boot camp. She rushed over, thinking something had happened. Or bad happened, anyway. She arrived, and Issei did the course again to show her, much quicker. About 12 seconds faster than his mother's time. And Aunt Sarah looked over at Issei's mom and said, "Why are you working my nephew this hard? He's still young. I can't deny that he's fast." As she finished, Issei's mom went over and whispered to her sister, "That is the second time ever running the course. I think we have a natural athlete here." Sarah then looks over at Issei and asks, "Is this true?" Issei quickly replies, "Yes, ma'am." Sarah looks over to her sister and says, "I'm kidnapping him for a month." "Come on, Issei." Issei follows his aunt, and under her breath, his mother says, "I hope she doesn't try to rope him into the military." She sighs. Then she looks out the window, waves at Issei, and yells, "Have fun with your aunt. See you in a month." The military jeep then pulls out, and they drive. After a few minutes of silence, little Issei finally asks, "Did Did I do something wrong? His aunt smiles sweetly at him and replies, no, Ace. You just outdid someone who has been practicing and exercising in that course for years. In 2 tries. You're very special. How much could help you help? She lowers down. Issei felt a chill run up his spine. But he said, okay, I guess Ma was a little jealous about me beating her. As he finishes, Aunt Sarah broke out in laughter and starts joking around with him for the next half an hour. They finally reach the boot camp. There's a relatively small party being held in one of the tents celebrating the rookies in the boot camp. Sarah walks in, holding Issei's hand. All of a sudden, she looks at a guy named Jace and introduces Issei. Jace, this is my nephew Issei. This is Jace, my boss. I had to take time off so I could pick you up, but the surprise you gave me was worth the time. Jace looks at her and asks, if you don't mind me asking, what did the pipsqueak do that got you all wound up? Sarah looks at him, grins, and explains the whole scenario as follows. Yeah, you know my little sis? This is her son. You know how you lent her the extra stuff from the warehouse to help her keep fit? Well, in 2 tries, the champion here knocked around 10 seconds off her best time. As she finished, she raised Issei's hand to the sky. Issei's face went red. He tried to escape by backing up, but he failed. He got pulled into a hug, picked up, and he got even more embarrassed. He looked into Sarah's eyes and he says, he looked into Sarah's. And she says, give up, Ace. You're stuck with me for a month. He says this and walks over to Jace, asks if he can borrow a few things. He says it's okay. And for that month, Sarah ran Issei into the ground, teaching him a few martial arts, some strategies, parkour. Issei didn't like most of the training, but Issei loved running off into the woods to escape her, climbing the trees, jumping between them, just hiding and maneuvering. But the month quickly came to an end, with Issei getting more muscle than any 5-year-old should have. On the way home, Sarah tells him that if he doesn't keep up his training, his mother will tell her, and she will run him so deep into the ground that this month will have seemed like a godsend. They got back, and Issei does what his aunt tells him. Issei is now 14, and has started doing parkour and urban exploration, as it gives me the excuse to have fun. Some days he'll climb and jump between trees, and others he will secretly run off to construction sites and abandoned houses just to climb them. And in some cases, jump between them. Yeah, he's been in jail a couple times because of that. Not jail, but he's gotten into problems with the law, definitely. He ain't no saint. He ain't no patron saint. If you got that joke. We now join Issei and his 2 friends peeking through the hole in the wall, just as in Ken. But this time, Issei feels like he is in danger. So he leaves. As he turns the corner, he runs into the kendo club. They ask where his friends are. Oh, just peeking into the locker room. He says in a giddy, creepy voice, "Why are you leaving?" Kendo club president asks. I felt like I was in danger. I guess I was right. As Issei finishes, a few girls in the kendo club chuckle. You know you're not escaping, right? Club leader said with a devilish grin. Oh, we'll see about that. Issei says with a grin. As he says this, he yells, "Scatter!" And the guy with glasses peeks around the corner to see the whole kendo club and says, "Oh," and bolts. Issei's friends escape clean. They weren't caught. Issei distracted with the kendo club. You do know you're taking your punishments now, right? Yes, Issei is. And she asks, Issei says, "If you can catch me, I'm all yours." He rushes off into the woods, climbs a tree, uses parkour skills to jump from tree to tree to tree to tree to tree to tree, and get the gist. This was a feeling he loved most. It's also the only reason Issei hangs out with those 2. Well, he does like the company and women, but he likes being chased more. It gets his blood pumping. Plus, he loves nature. He almost feels as if he was meant to live among the trees. The only reason he hasn't become a forest hermit is the chase. It is the best, unparalleled thrill of it all. As he comes to the outskirts of the forest, the entrance to town, You know, the city, all that. He sees the kendo club waiting from further down the road. He yells, "You're giving up that easy?" As he rushes over to a fire escape and starts rapidly climbing upwards. The girls yell, "Get down," and avoiding a beating really worth endangering your life. "Oh, you must be mistaken. I always do this. If anything, I'm being safer and slower, so we all can keep up." As he said this, he leaps across to another fire escape and climbs to the roof. He finishes his getaway and jumps from roof to roof until he sees a cute-ish, black-haired teenage girl on the roof of an apartment complex. "Hello, miss. You wouldn't happen to be a member of the kendo club, would you?" he asks, putting his hands up. "No, why?" the girl asks, looking slightly confused. "Okay, good. Then I have time to breathe." "I kind of was a pervert and peeked into the girls' locker room, and I'm running away from the kendo club." The girl chuckles a bit, then asks how he could jump between rooftops, and Issei replies with, I do parkour a lot. I dabble in urban exploration." Issei says with a light grin. "That's cool. Could you teach me a bit?" He asks kinda sheepishly. "Tomorrow, sure, is tomorrow at 4 a.m. good?" Issei asked. "I'm open, but can I get your name?" "Oh, it's Issei. Issei Hudo. Can I get yours?" "Rainier Katakana." "Okay, see you tomorrow, Rainier." As he slides down a fire escape, Rainier goes to look at him and he's disappeared. "He is interesting. Kinda ashamed to kill him, though. I might have seen me falling for him." As she finishes her thoughts, he walks back into the stairwell. We then get a close-up look on Issei's alarm clock. Turns out a night has passed. And we see his room filled with anime merch. He gets up and makes an egg sandwich and goes to the rooftop he said he'd meet Rainier at. As he arrived, it started sprinkling. No need to waste a day like that, right? So, Rainier arrives and goes. Then they go throughout the day, letting Issei teach her how to do basic stuff like how to jump far, how to climb fast. It was as if she already knew how to do it, though. Issei thought, but Rainier asked him out to a fountain before we parted ways. As they arrived, it started pouring. Rainier arrived at the fountain first, turned around, and said, "No, I wish I wasn't ordered to kill you. I think dating you would be fun. But orders are orders." She says this, thunder blasts through the sky. "What do you mean, Rainier?" Issei, poor fool. "I am a fallen angel." She says this, snaps, and her outfit changes to the skin-tight clothing she wore in canon. She summons a spear. "This will hurt me a lot more than it will hurt you." "Well, that's a lie, actually. I won't feel much. So, I guess it will hurt you more, but it won't hurt me." She launches the spear through him and leaves a big hole in his chest. He falls over, and as Rainier goes to leave, Issei feels a burst of energy. "I don't want to die here," he yells. Lightning strikes him, healing his wounds. He stands up, stretches, and says, "You have 5 seconds to run, or I will fry you to a crisp." He starts cracking his neck. Rainier laughs it off and starts saying how humans are and will always be weak fallen angels. And then she feels a sense. It's as if she's about to die. "Is this his power?" Rainier asks. "I'm going to need backup." She flies off at top speed. There's a 100-meter radius around Issei in all directions, like a circle around him, disintegrated in an instant. And he dies. Yeah, did you think he was going to live through that? No. The amount of electricity he took would easily kill even coal. In the early stages, anyway. Before he got blast cores and shards and all that jazz. He wakes up to see a woman's chest and long, flowing crimson hair. It takes a second before he notices what's happening, or at least what position he is in. But then he notices he's using a woman's lap as a pillow. All of a sudden, he notices who this is. He has a grimmer. What happened? And why am I on your lap? He says as he finishes, he gets a sharp pain through his skull, as if lightning is striking it. He gasps in pain and reasks "You're in the occult research club. I was on my way to a weekend meeting and saw your corpse lying inside a crater. So, brought you back and you've been lying around like that for about 2 hours now." "My corpse?" Issei exclaimed. Yeah, you're now a devil. And you belong to me, or at least your soul. I can just end you if I want, or if you want, but I figure you want to stay alive for your family. A father, she says this, and Issei's body is melt by lightning. He cuts her off as that man is no family member of mine. She says, and the lightning dissipates. Okay, daddy issues, noted. Then a mother, or an aunt, maybe? Issei then looks her in the eye and says, now that's more accurate. Take it you have no complaints? She finishes, he leans back, says, is this a good answer? Passes it out. Just passes out. We look into Issei's mind. See a couple thousand people, all shadowed out, and one dragon. Issei asks for two of them in particular, ones without shadows. Where am I? We are in your mind. I am Cole McGrath. And this is Dreg. As he says this, he points over to a dragon, and Dreg gives him the whole Welsh dragon spiel. You know. Then he says that he chose him because he sensed great power within him, but he didn't know his body was already taken. All these people were just shadows until you were struck by lightning, and he appeared. As Drake finished, Cole McGrath chimes in, my name is Cole. I see you with my conduit abilities, as well as literally every other conduit if I believe all these shadows are other conduits. I mean, I see a couple conduits I know, like her and him and her, but a lot of them are new to me. He asks, what's a conduit? Cole rolls his eyes and says, bioterrorist. Could I get an explanation? Don't know what that is. Cole explains everything about the conduit gene and how many people have an inactive one, but that he blew himself up to kill the beast, and he says all of the history. How he was the patron saint of Numerae. And all the story of the infamous 1 and 2 good karma sides. He asks if he can pick this up later, and Cole asks if he can come out and see the world. Sure, just don't cause chaos, he said sarcastically. Drake and Cole chuckle. Drakeman goes through a whole arm sacrifice for power thing, and after a lot of convincing, Issei says okay, and they all leave his mind. Issei now missing an arm. We get a look at Rias, looking at his arm, or what used to be his arm, which has a newly manifested red gauntlet surrounded by lightning. And Issei looks at her eyes, trying to keep his eyes away from her chest, and says, so, we're here again. How many times do I wake up to this? Cole materializes, Snicker says, oh, come on, you can't tell me you aren't enjoying that. Issei's face just goes red. Rias ignores and asks him, so, you got the Welsh dragon? Yeah, why? Rias said under her breath that she was happy she resurrected him. And Issei says, I'm gonna have to go find a huge mass of electricity so I can awaken the rest of this guy's powers. Pats Cole on the shoulder. Cole looks him in the eyes and asks, where'd you get that idea? That's how you awaken them, right? I mean, kinda. It's much more complicated. I need to collect blast cores and blast shards first. Those would allow your body to hold the electricity. Or let you evolve. You want to repeat it earlier? No, but is there an easy way to get blast cores or blast shards? Well, you can scour the earth looking for blast shards, or you can find someone who can make blast cores. Rias perked up and said, I can help with that. So, they agree. He goes to leave, but he bumps into Akano, and lightning arcs between them, and Issei gets a flashback. Flash forward? A vision. That's the word, a vision. It's a vision of Cole using all of the powers that I'm about to say, and he decides to try the lightning pulse sonar thing. He sees a good 5-mile radius, he runs, jumps out the window, does the lightning hover, and lands in the tree. Collects one buried blast shard that's somewhere in the middle of the forest, returns it to Rias, and Cole pops back out and says, that would be a blast shard, but Issei, how did you know how to do that? Touched Akano and just felt a rush of energy. I saw a vision of using a bunch of powers like the hover, the pulse, the force blast, the grenades, the missiles. And that's good. Okay, guys, see ya. I'm gonna go hang out with my friends. Maybe even hunt down Rainair. Ria's been asked if who Raina is. Well, she's a girl I found running away from the kendo club. She said she wanted to learn parkour and urban exploration, but she turned out to be someone wanting to kill me. She had black wings and threw a spear. She ran when I made the crater. That would be a fallen angel. She probably wanted you dead because of Dreg, she said, just kind of tapping the gauntlet for emphasis. Why, did he make her mad or something? You even know what he is? Yeah, some Welsh dragon. I didn't pay much attention to his explanation. I was thinking about how I could abuse Cole's powers. Maybe I could burn clothes off of women. Don't bring me into this, kid. Cole backs into Issei's mind. Rias explains her Dreg is the boosted gear, the ability to double someone's power and double that, and so on. And they finish talking, and he starts going home. But as he passes the park, he sees a child with a scraped knee, and he says, "Hey kid, you want to see a magic trick?" "Sure, mister," the kid said while cradling her leg. "Look me in the eyes," I said. As the kid did, he sent out a small pulse of lightning, healing her wound. "Mister, how do you heal my wound?" "A great magician never reveals a secret." The kid pouts and walks off. But as he went to leave, he is stopped by a young woman in a nun uniform. "Excuse me, but did you just heal his wound?" "Yeah, why?" Issei asked with a puzzled expression. "This surprises me, if it's fair robbers like me. But I was going to ask, can you point me toward the church?" "Sure, but don't we have some fun first? Sightsee, eat, street performers, the like?" "I can tell that you don't belong here, and very least safe for home. Yet." "That could be fun. My name's Azia. What's yours?" Issei Hugo." "Okay, Issei, can you guide me around?" She finished talking. Issei bows down and jokes, saying, "Well, it would be an honor to be your guide this evening. You won't regret it." As he finishes, he grabs her arm, locks it with his, and walks. You have sightseeing stuff that happens in canon. Issei gets her weird-looking crab plushie. Azia hugs it, and thanks, Issei. He brings her to a church, but he sees her there out of the corner of his eye. So he walks up behind her and goes, "Boo!" She jumps and looks back. Issei smirks and says, "So you missed me? You must have missed me. Admit it, you missed me." Azia walks toward Issei and asks what he's doing. "Oh, just talking to my girlfriend." "Oh, okay. But is it okay if I go in, Issei?" Issei looks at her and says, "Of course, my friend. Just call if you need help." As he finished saying that, Cole walks over and whacks him. "You really need to stop joking like that, little brother." "Fine, I'll stop it, bro." Right now starts giggling. Issei slides over to her. One fluid motion. He pulls her off her feet, holds her, and kisses her. That was for a little fight. Issei and Cole walk off, with Rainier standing there, mouth agape. We now see Issei riding his bike to a job. "Dang powers. Too unwieldy." Cole is just sitting on the back of the bike. "That is because you spend too much time being a pirate and not enough time training. But training is so boring. Come on. You always tell me that you would rather train instead of looking at women." "Kid, I gave up women after Trish died. I've personally been reading manga and practicing powers." "Man, that's a goddess." Cole chuckles and says, "It does indeed suck it." They then get off of the bike and walk into the apartment. But as they enter, they see a pool of blood. Cole enters Issei's mind, and Issei readies his lightning. He walks forward and sees a man sitting on a couch next to his client. "Hey, mister, I'm here for your appointment. But do you need an ambulance?" Man stands up and his client's corpse falls off the couch. "Oh, I see the devil's here," he says as he pulls out his sword. "Hi, I'm afraid. Church, I came here to kill this man, but now I'm going to kill you." He says this and charges Issei. Issei then generates an aura of lightning and asks him, "Why did you kill him?" "Because humans who affiliate themselves with devils have committed the ultimate sin, and the punishment is execution." As he says this, he pulls out his gun and shoots at Issei, but misses. This fight goes on for a few minutes, neither making any leeway on each other, until Asya enters and Fried goes to shoot Issei but misfires toward Asya. Issei doesn't even think. His whole body feels like it was felt like the world was submerged in water. Everything around him is moving much slower, like snail's pace. He can see a bullet moving. But this only lasted for a few seconds. Issei jumped in the way of the bullet, stopping it from hitting Asya, getting shot in the chest. Fried grins and says, "So you value Asya's life more than your own, huh? Well, I guess I have to punish her now." Fried walks over and starts violating her. But he wasn't paying attention to Issei. Issei's eyes were glowing red. All of a sudden, red lightning struck Fried. Fried falls, and Issei walks over, emitting an ominous presence. Even Cole didn't know what he was going to do. "You dare hurt her," he says, and red lightning flares. Fried goes to stab him, but Issei just takes it like a truck. Gets stabbed, but unfazed, he pulls the blade from his chest and melts it. Fried falls backward, and a portal opens, but Issei doesn't notice. He hears many voices in his head saying, "Do you want people to love you or fear you?" And Issei gets another vision, and Cole knows exactly what Issei was about to do now. But he wasn't going to stop Issei. He had to choose his own path. Without noticing everyone watching, he pins Fried down and pushes his hand toward Fried's face. Fried goes to push Issei's hand away, but starts getting his energy zapped away. He feels like he's dying, but he knows if Issei touches his face, he will die. As Issei's hand is less than a millimeter from Fried's face, Asya runs up behind Issei and says, "I'm okay, please stop. He's horrible, but you can't kill him." Issei's eyes flicker between red and blue and red and blue, like a demonic lottery machine. And they stop on blue. Issei then puts the energy into his hand and punches Fried, breaking his nose, knocking out a few teeth, binding his arms and legs to the floor of lightning. Fried struggles but can't escape. Issei then looks Asya in the eyes and says, "Thanks, I lost myself for a second there." He looks over to Reus, walks forward, and falls like a sack of potatoes. Takes Reus down with him, too. Face on the Yopai. But Issei returns to his mind and sees two new figures. Wait. Okay, yeah, well, there goes my showing images of the characters. Ah, well. I'll figure it out eventually. So,